My name is Professor Carol. That's what I go by. And I wanted to welcome you to our second event for our new Digital Media Week, which in this case, we're talking about Chart Your Path, Digital Media Arts Careers. This is going to walk you through different types of opportunities that are out there for, of course, digital media arts, as well as the different type of majors that we have here at SJCC, the way that you can kind of find yourself and start charting, like literally charting a path to your success through SJCC's Digital Media Arts program and beyond. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I wanted to kind of let everyone know is what programs we have available at San Jose City College. At San Jose City College, we have a few programs that are here, and then we have some that are like coming soon. We also have classes that are coming soon as well. And again, we have some wonderful professors that are allowing for us to achieve our goals within digital media arts. I mean, I don't want to say that I'm wonderful, but you know what I mean. I am one of them, Professor Carol. We have Professor Janelli and Professor Ashima, as well as others that will be kind of help guiding you on your way through the digital media arts program. And as you can see here, we have a AA in graphic design, which is kind of that all-encompassing space when it comes to learning digital media arts, as well as an AS and certificate in user experience and user interaction design. I will tell you that this is the hottest market when it comes to jobs. Currently, anything that you touch, anything that you interact with on a computer in a visual space needs someone to kind of create that visual space for you to interact with. So like if you look at an app on your phone, or if you're interested in the new Apple, headset, there's somebody who is designing how you're going to be utilizing that product and how different things and interactions, like whether it be clicking a button or some small movement when it comes to how something pops up and presents itself to you. That's what user experience and interaction design is all about. So really getting the heads into the heads of the user and making sure that they're presenting the best possible way of how someone can use a product, and also like the interface, somehow it's designed to make it easy to use, right? And then we have a AS certificate in motion graphic design coming up soon as well. And animation, we have a few classes that are going to be sprinkled throughout, hopefully soon. So hold on to your seats. It's going to be great. um, and with I wanted to give a few overviews of what you can expect in different categories. So I'll have a video that kind of explains a little bit more about some of these ideas of graphic design, interaction design, as well as some other fields. And then we'll kind of walk through the programs that we have here at SJCC, and of course, what kind of jobs are out there. So here's an overview of maybe graphic design.
Graphic design is about using words and images to convey a message. Graphic designers have to know a lot about color theory, typography, how to create a grid, but those are all really basic. You have to be somebody that is really interested in understanding human behavior, being able to understand how they think, how they choose, how they buy, how they believe. People probably don't think about how much graphic design impacts them. We use graphic design to cross the street, to decide what we want to eat and how much we want to eat. We use graphic design to pay our bills, to get married. We use graphic design to get divorced. We use graphic design in every single aspect of human life right now. And people tend to like things best when they feel that they are respected by that thing. But I think ultimately, if it moves you, whether it be a good emotion or a bad emotion, chances are then it's effective because it's getting you to think about something and it's getting you to potentially take action.
Right. So again, with graphic design, it encompasses everything that's around us, whether it be, I don't know, a cup that you might have and you have a cool design on it, or when you're walking across the street and you see that there's a sign that says, Moore Park Boulevard or something like that. that's when you're going to know, oh, there's someone who had to design this sign. Someone had to think about who, is going to interact with that. So at SGCC, we have a degree plan, and it, allows for you to take some really interesting courses, whether it be regular art courses, and you'll need that as a great basis for your graphic design skill sets, like 2D design, which talks about the principles of visual art, all the way to even a little bit of drawing. And again, we're starting you up there to get to the roots of where graphic design started, because graphic design did not start on a computer. It actually started with like pen and paper. It started with creating beautiful signs and windows and posters with paint, even before it actually got to the point where you're, click, 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 trying to create something in Adobe, Illustrator or something like that. So we have these degree plans, of course, that we can share, but these are going to be the ones that you're going to sit down with a counselor with and take a look at. But again, you can, hey, be a freelancer. You can make logos. You can make all these great things, even as a side hustle, if you'd like, when it comes to graphic design. And what I really appreciate about graphic design is it's one of those kind of overarching or all-encompassing fields, which allow for us to get our hands into different things. You can see here with the digital media classes that are attached to this degree, we have typography, web design, graphic design, which you'll learn Photoshop, Illustrator, and I believe After Effects. You'll be learning that also in the introductory courses as well. So again, you'll actually have kind of an overview of what digital media arts is through our graphic design program. So if you're thinking you're not quite sure which way you want to go quite yet, this is a very well-rounded associate's degree that you'll be able to, get a handle on. Now, when it comes to graphic design, uh, again, we're talking about the core skills that you're going to need is you'll have to have some kind of technical precision. You'll have to make sure you have some kind of artistic flair. That creativity needs to be there, as well as the idea of mastering certain software, or at least being able to look it up and use tutorials to get your point across, right? Color theory and typography, because people are going to be looking at your work. You want to make sure that your designs are sleek. Sometimes you'll have a prompt that are given to you, and you'll say, I want to make something for this type of audience. And you're going to have to kind of hone in and know your color theory, know your typography, so you'll be able to design for that audience, that group. Your portfolio should have a diverse range of projects. The beautiful part about our degree plans is, in our classes, is that we have a very diverse range of projects that we like to give you. But if you want to, again, you're trying to apply for a job, you're trying to go and get into a school, they don't want to just see the stuff that you make in class. They want to see other things, other projects that you create yourself. So you can always research other places or other types of projects, make up your own projects to include into your portfolio for graphic design. When it comes to, making print materials like letterheads or logos or branding packages, package design. There's so much that falls under graphic design. And then you can see for your industry applications, it's everywhere. So where do you find a graphic design job? Everywhere. Any company will need a graphic designer, whether it be someone to design PowerPoints for them. Some people will find that you'll find like a small company that will need like a menu or something like that. Maybe it's just the place around the corner that sells, great food, but their menu is kind of all over the place. Maybe you can say, hey, I am a graphic designer. I can have a design services for you and make a website and a really cool, more fashionable menu for you all. Again, it's everywhere. So your skill sets will be used in a very diverse way. And then again, you have to think about this. larger companies, things that we think are monoliths, like huge, huge companies, like even Adobe needs graphic designers. Maybe you think WebMD, I don't know, I'm just thinking out of the top of my head. You're thinking, oh, what do they need graphic designers for? Well, someone had to make a logo, someone had to make that website functional. That's what we're talking about with graphic design. It's everywhere. So again, explore different trends. A lot of times in the graphic design portfolio, they want to see how you can stretch your own ability stylistically. So if you like keep making the same thing and you have like certain things that you like to make, that's fine. But you want to showcase variety, whether it be, you can see different types of design practices that are outside in the world. What I like to do sometimes is I will type in, 2020 for graphic design trends. The reason why I'll type that in like Google or something is because I want to know what's the latest thing, how is advertising, how is package design, how are these things skewing? Because a lot of times with graphic design, it's going to be the audience that changes and you'll need to change with the audience. So that's how you'll be able to make sure that you're a more marketable graphic designer. And when you say I'm a graphic designer, but all I do is cats, it's like uh, you're really limiting your audience. You're really limiting your viewpoint and who can hire you. Because then at that point, only cat places can hire you. You can only do like Petco or something. But you want to be able to, again, broaden your horizons, make sure that not everything you make is the same theme or the same style. Now, for careers that you'll find, and I will tell you this, these are job titles and the types of responsibilities, things that they might need to know. But if you are reading job descriptions, like if you're on, and we'll talk about this, LinkedIn or um, uh, Google Jobs, Indeed, I feel like I'm missing a big one, but I mean, everywhere. If you're looking for a job, you'll see that sometimes graphic designer is just a person who makes PowerPoints for the company. Sometimes you'll see graphic designer and they're looking for someone who only makes logos. Sometimes you'll see graphic designer and you'll see like this big laundry list of things that they're supposed to be doing. Do not be disheartened by people that say, oh, I need a certain amount of experience, I need at least 5 years of experience. No, no, no. Always apply anyway, because the jobs that you don't apply for, you do not get, right? But then on top of that, with being a graphic designer, just remember that um, it's going to be defined, or the role is going to be defined by the company in that job listing or application. So just again, do not just read the top line and apply with your stuff blindly. Really, really, really look at what those job applications are looking for, um, because again, they can be misleading in a lot of ways, or you might find that this is actually not the job for you. You don't want to work in that type of job, like where you make only PowerPoints, that kind of thing. But it'll say graphic designer. So for graphic designer, you can see the responsibilities are going to be like creating visual concepts, most likely. Maybe you'll be tooling or retooling different like things like logos, certain designs, branding, etc. You'll need to definitely know the Adobe Creative Suite. I would say everything here, you can see that it has the Adobe Creative Suite and it highlights, Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, but you can go one further. There's an increasing need for people to know After Effects or things that have some sort of motion or animation in it. So again, our degree plan actually has that incorporated in there. You'll have a motion design class that you'll be doing for motion graphics. And again, that's going to really help propel your portfolio ahead of someone who doesn't have those skill sets. So again, the more knowledge, the better that you come across. In this case, we have another one that's brand specialist, art director. Art director is like the tippity top. Okay, so you might find entry level things like graphic designer, entry level branding specialist, but the tippity top one is like, hey, I'm running this. That's the art director. And you'll see that everywhere. And you'll find these again at any type of company. You can see here that I listed a few companies here sprinkled throughout, and not all of them are creative companies like Dropbox, right? that's not necessarily, I wouldn't think of that as a creative style company. But again, everyone needs a graphic design style job to make sure that their visual communication goes out well. Now we have one of the newest fields, I said the hottest, right? UI and UX design. So let's learn a little bit about that.
Let's talk about UX UI design. What is it? Why is it important? Average wages in this field and how you can get started today. All of that and more in 2 minutes. Start the timer. UX UI design is the process of making the experience for the client on an application as rich, smooth, and practical as possible. UX stands for user experience and UI stands for user interface. Although they're mentioned together like obesity and the United States are, they are not the same thing. UX designers take a more functional approach. Their end goal is a superior user experience. They tend to focus on the flow and the feel of the application. Does the navigation on the app feel logical? Is the overall user experience simple and pleasant? While UI designers take a more aesthetic approach. Their ambition boils down to how the application looks. This includes transitions, interface animations, graphical locations of components, and so on. Both UX and UI designers are vital in the creation of any application or project. They typically work directly with product managers and engineers. Normally, they will interact with the client or the intended user directly and follow 5 key phases to ensure the product's success. This includes product definition, research, analysis, design, and finally validation. If you ask any developer, they will let you know how important designers are to the team, because without them, we would be spending 2 hours deciding if we should go with Bravado font or Lotto font just to end up with sans serif. Now, because UX and UI designers are so crucial to the entire process of creating an application, they generally get paid pretty well. On average, UI designers get paid $69,000 to $127,000 with an average of $94,000 a year, while UX designers get paid $77,000 to $143,000 with an average of around $105,000 a year. But overall, one thing is for certain, that this career can be very lucrative and rewarding. If you would like to become a UX UI designer.
All right, so I don't know about all those prices and everything, but again, they said there's a range, right? But I mean, it's good to know that you can go to school, learn art, and eventually make some money, right? So with UI UX design, what we have for our degree plans is a certificate. We have one certificate that's in the middle, and then we have an associate in science. And what you'll see is we have all of our fundamentals when it comes to making sure that you know the bare bones of how you're supposed to, again, draw. We need to draw. We need to make sure that we know our fundamentals as far as our design skill sets. But on top of that, we have a lot of the graphic design work, which is going to lay the groundwork for the design. And you'll see here the upper, they're not really upper division classes, but you'll see that they're higher numbers, right? Design thinking and design story, digital storytelling, the principles of user experience, interactive design, and prototyping. And then we also snuck in a animation for web and media. And what you'll see is all of these things, when they come together, allow for us to create a really great and innovative experience for the end user. And with user experience design, that's really what we're thinking about all the time. Now, what's the difference between the AS degree and the certificate? Well, the certificate is, you know, you're not taking, you're not taking the general education courses, like the things that you're supposed to for a full degree. If you happen to have a certificate, or maybe you see that you've taken a lot of these already, maybe you are also a graphic designer, right? You've already taken our graphic design course and you're like, oh, I've taken, oh, like maybe 4 of these, right? You can actually be almost to your way to get a certificate, which looks really great also on a resume, when you are, again, applying for job applications, or you're not even applying for job applications, but you're presenting yourself to the world. Maybe you're doing some freelancing and you want to say that you have a little street cred, right? So saying that you have a certificate is better than no degree at all, you know, or you can say you're self-taught, but that's kind of a hard sell sometimes. but you can say, hey, I have a certificate. And then if you want to, you can continue working towards an associate's in science when you have a degree like this. But again, super creative field, really great, an upcoming field as well. And you'll see that we were doing this before, but it's just bigger now. We have a name to it when it comes to user interaction or user experience design. All right, so what we need to make sure of when we are taking a look at roles and you're looking in, job guides, etc., that you're applying for the correct thing because there are distinctions. And again, just like graphic design, it can mean anything. Make sure you read the application, you read the actual job listing so you know what the responsibilities of those jobs are. So with UI versus UX, sometimes it'll be UI and UX. Sometimes they'll mix up the titles and then you'll read the description and you're like, I don't think this is really but okay, I could do this job. With the idea of UI, that's creating the user interface, the user elements, designing what things are going to look like. And then the UX is the experience. So that's the research and design development on the way to creating those digital icons, if you will. So what I like to think about is UI is what I see, and the UX is the thought process of uh, the user experience, right? What their journey is. That's why a lot of times they're together because you're actually kind of building both at the same time. But you'll find that again, different job postings for this field, it could be anything. Just again, make sure you read exactly what is needed when it comes to the needs of that job. The main thing is you want to be user-centered. They have a lot of ideas around, you need to think about how the person is interacting with the computer or the phone or the website. So you want to make sure that, again, you're highlighting the fact that you've maybe done usability testing, or you need to kind of talk about how you research your design work. So a lot of times you'll see in portfolios, there's quite a lot of text, there's quite a lot of stories and storyboards, but not in the like traditional animation ways, but in the way of walking through a person through a product journey or a project and how they're interacting with that item. That's something that you'll see when you're showcasing the materials. So a great thing to do is, if you're interested in this field, is to take a look and maybe Google, like blank, UI, UX design portfolios. And they're going to be looking for things like case studies. They'll be able to see a lot of different ways of you presenting certain projects. So you'll see that when you talk about portfolios for these projects, they'll most likely be project-based. And then you'll see that someone will click it, and then it'll be unpacked. The entirety of that project will be underneath that portfolio, unlike an art portfolio or traditional art portfolio where it's just a beautiful picture and that's it. Okay, so this one will have a lot of thinking and a lot of text added to it. Another thing is, again, this is going to work across multiple technologies. I think I mentioned the new Apple headset, right? Someone had to figure out how that operating system works and how someone's going to use that headset. Or the same thing goes with, like, if you use a video game, maybe you have controllers. There's someone who figured out how to use, or how a person would use those controllers, what would be the easiest place for someone to look to interact with those things. So again, this UI UX design, you'll find this in multiple categories across different platforms. Things that you'll find, again, when it comes to jobs, these are jobs that are pretty much prolific in these spaces. UI designer, and that's the visual elements, right? UX researcher, that's going to be that data analysis kind of thing, where you're thinking about the user experience and like how you're gonna walk them through to use that. So you'll see that there's lots of analytics and tools that you'll use for research, usability testing, etc. And then interaction designer. And that's where you'll be able to be or see that it's about how the person is interacting. So that's kind of more of, I guess, a blanket title for the field, etc. Now, for motion graphics is, I like to think of it like a friend to animation. This is another short video about what motion graphics is. Then we can talk about the degrees and where those careers might lead.
Hey folks, my name is Kes, and welcome back to the You Want Pizzazz channel. If you like Adobe tutorials, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. In today's video, we will be discussing motion graphics, so let's dive into it. Motion graphics, animation. What's the difference? Well, motion graphics is actually a type of animation that specifically relates to graphic elements and text. Through the combination of sound, motion, and graphic design, we can add movement to these graphic elements. Character animation is a little different from motion graphics because it involves designing, rigging, and bringing characters to life in order to tell a story. Motion graphics are more about providing a visual aid, as well as outlining and emphasizing information and ideas. They are chic, professional, and more appropriate for corporate video content. Some of the earlier uses of motion graphics were featured in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This movie intro was created by American graphic designer Saul Bass. Movie intros are just one of the many uses of motion graphics. They can be used to create ads, title sequences, music videos, explainer videos, and many more. The possibilities are endless. If you want to get started with motion graphics, I definitely recommend After Effects. It's a part of the Adobe Creative Suite, and the program is used for animation, motion graphics, and visual effects. This Adobe program has hundreds of effects that can be used to manipulate video, and it is available on both Mac and Windows computers. If you are looking to get started with After Effects, I definitely recommend checking out my channel. I put some links in the description below.
Well, I think that's completely true. But what's really, really amazing too is I love the fact that she emphasized After Effects. And for our motion graphic design program, we are definitely interested in After Effects as well as animation overall, because again, even though we're not creating character animation with this thing, but this field, but what you'll see is you're going to use the same principles as character animation. So what you'll see for this degree, very similar to the UI UX design, is if you'd like to get the AS degree, the Associate in Science, you just have to take, basically, this is the same at the top here, all of the design courses, but you have that plus your general education kind of things that you'll need to take, right? But for just a certificate, again, another great, maybe it's a stepping stone, maybe it's your final, like where you want to end up. But if you get the certificate of achievement, you'll see that you're kind of halfway there. And if you decide to take these courses, you'll need to make sure you have a little bit of drawing in your background. You'll see that we have the Introduction to Digital Media Arts that gives you a little taste of After Effects to begin with. Then you have the Introduction to Graphic Design, which hopefully will guide you through more of Adobe's Creative Suite. And then going forward, we have some newer classes like the illustration and storyboarding for motion design, as well as we'll have motion graphics, not just one, but two. So you'll see that there's lots of different types of things, including video production, because you need to make sure that you'll be able to speak to all of these things when you are, doing, if you're doing motion design. So motion graphics, again, and she highlighted all of the things that you probably could do with it, but you'll see it's a video-based style of art. So for motion graphics, again, it's animation for visual storytelling, and you can use it in different things. Commercials, you're probably going to see little small snippets of it, just, I don't know, when you turn on your computer or anything like that, you'll see that there's a little shake or something to an icon. That would be considered motion graphics as well, right? And what you'll need to know is the animation techniques, like the animation basics. We have a principles of animation that we'll teach, which everybody teaches because it's the principles of them. And then, of course, video editing, visual storytelling, those are going to be all kind of crafted into what you'll find with motion graphics as well. So you'll learn most likely a little bit about storyboarding, maybe how to guide people's eyes towards certain visual interests, etc. As well as, again, letting things look cool as they move throughout the screen. So what you'll see is in the industry, a lot of people are going to be needing this. So it's not going to be just for, I don't know, creative companies, think marketing, think advertising. Everybody needs something in this world that's going to propel people to look at them, but also think about social media. In social media spaces, if you see something that moves, you are going to go, whoa, and your eyes go directly to it. So motion graphics also fits in there, as well as you'll have that video editing experience in your back pocket. So you can also do video editing as a job as well. Speaking of jobs, here you go. We'll have the idea of being a motion graphic designer. So you can work at different types of animation places, including game companies. And on top of that, motion graphic designers, you'll probably need them anywhere, again, especially when you're taking a look at how things are being advertised, or even within the UI or UX, you'll have a little bit of motion graphics in there as well. You can also become a video editor with different types of studios. You'll see that you can also freelance. And you can see here also YouTube, right? So maybe you're the person's going to be the next YouTuber entrepreneur. Boom. You'll be able to make sure that you know how to create effective, I'll say frame by frame, not animations, but also be able to, I guess, cut and edit video, understand the principles of that, understand why or how long someone can look at something, for what duration until, you can cut away from it, and then they'll retain that memory. There's so many different principles also to video techniques. And then finally, multimedia artists. That's when you can go ahead and kind of put everything together and see how it works. You'll be able to have the graphic ideas that you can create and then move them around, make them really interesting and neat. And again, other companies, not just creative companies, need these things. So you'll need to, of course, know your Adobe Creative Suite for this as well. But again, what I like to think about, and I really want to emphasize, is for all of our degree plans, we have a class that's called Digital Media Arts, I think Introduction to Digital Media Arts. That's DMA 001. You cover pretty much everything when you talk about career path, except for UI UX design, but you will touch a lot of Adobe products, including After Effects. So you can kind of, taste it, see if you like it. Is this the kind of thing that you like to do? So you can go forward with it. Now, we don't have this as a major, but I wanted to kind of give some ideas for animation. I run to a lot of students that are interested in animation, and I like animation. I'm interested in animation too. So again, what you might need for animation, we can also, any of our degree plans would also help out with an animation background. So if you want to take maybe the motion graphics design, that would be a really great pipeline for you, as well as even the regular graphic design degree. That would be also a very cool pipeline to be in, because you'll still be able to kind of flex your animation muscles, if you will. And with those areas, you'll have, again, what you need to have is a nice background in drawing, as well as these digital, like Creative Cloud style software. So once you start learning your digital media software, the sky's the limit, and animation kind of incorporates into all of these different areas. What I would recommend you doing is, diving in, like, and being a part of the animation industry in some way. Like, I mean, this sounds really simple, but, know what's going on in the animation world. We're about to be in the Academy Awards season. Uh, do you know who's nominated? Have you seen any of those movies? It's okay if you haven't, but that's the kind of thing you might want to be on the cutting edge for, just so you know what's out there. Maybe you want to see what kind of interesting independent studios that are working and what they might need. If you're interested in, 2D animation versus 3D, or even games, right? Have animation elements that you'll need to know. There's so many different types of careers in animation. We happen to have in America, like 2D, 3D animation is pretty prevalent. In Northern California, we have quite a lot of work that is preliminary design, or also geared towards games. So you'll find like lots of storyboarding positions, animation positions here. But of course, maybe towards video games, if you're thinking about things for television or a film, you got to go where the studios are. A lot of them are down in Southern California. So again, make sure that you do your research and homework. You can be an animator, you can be a character designer, you can be a storyboard artist. There's also lots of production jobs that are within careers for animation. But the main thing is, again, and I will tell you this right now, it is the season for internships and jobs. What we'll talk about, and I think, yeah, cool. I think my next presentation today will be about how to search for jobs and internships. So kind of swing in there if you have the time. We'll record each of these sessions so you can take a look at them later. But again, you want to make sure that you are looking where you might want to live. That's a big one, or where you can live, right? Where you can afford to live. And also start looking at the different studios that are in that area, including the small ones, including also jobs that are not like animator, character designer, and storyboard artists. Sometimes those are still not entry level. It could be just something like production assistant. That could also be an interesting job where you don't actually animate or anything, but it gets your foot in the door, which allows for you to learn the pipeline of animation. So after, we talked a little bit about everything, motion graphics, animation, graphic designs, UI, UX design, but how do you keep your ears to the ground? I talked to you about like, oh, maybe you might want to watch the Academy Awards. Maybe you want to make sure that you know what's going on in the world or the industry in your field. And what you got to do is find these professional organizations, find news websites, and really know what's going on and get yourself clued into. So I'm not saying, hey, like don't watch, the local news isn't going to give you the real tea or the real thing about what's going on in the animation industry or the graphic design industry. You need to find publications online, whether it be a website, free online magazines that will kind of keep you again up to the trends of what's happening in these spaces, these worlds. So then, including this, right, is maybe joining or following or, I don't know, liking and subscribing some of these professional organizations. You can find them, a lot of places like this will have them on, websites. They'll be on Instagram. There's lots of different types of organizations, also very diverse organizations that will help in whether you're part of that diverse community or not. Like, for instance, women in animation, there are, non-binary and male presenting people that also join that. Okay. So don't think that you can't, be a part of, their club or anything. They're just there for the knowledge and there to promote women. So just FYI there. But again, like any of these different types of places you'll see here, I just found a few listings of where you can find some of these professional organizations. Sometimes they have meetups, sometimes they have networking events, or they'll even have mentorships. I know that Women in Animation has, I put it here twice, sorry about that. But they have lots and lots of events and also mentorships that will come around. They usually will ask you to, for mentorships, apply for a mentorship, and they actually get you connected with somebody in the industry that hopefully could be, your sensei, because your professors, we're one person to network with, right? But then you'll probably want to network with someone who's actually in the industry doing the thing. Some of our professors are doing that as well, but you want to make sure that if you're interested in any one of these categories, you can just, hey, have someone to reach out to. Maybe you can ask them advice from time to time or gain feedback from their experience. It's a really great thing to see if you can get a mentor, or again, just be there to be a fly on the wall. They have lots of presentations like what I'm doing right now, but they have them from people like from Pixar, etc., that will come by, and they're doing what you want to do. So please look up, and you can, Google search this too. If these are not the ones for you, there it is. That's okay. But go ahead and just type in where you want to go, like the motion graphics, and then professional organizations, and see if you can find a great chapter of like people that are going to network with you, where you can go and like, it's like really literally sometimes going there and they'll give you a free movie screening, or going there and you'll, just meet people. And that's again, just being around that, being part of the profession in that way, you can glean a lot of cool advice from people, and they're really friendly. They're really happy to share their stories as well. So I think this is going to end a little bit early. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. But really, what we're creating here at SJCC is just the starting point. We want to make sure that you know what's available out there for you. And all of these, I will say this every time, all of these, careers, it's going to be what you make of it, right? What you're looking for, it'll make, in like school isn't going to teach you everything that you need to know. So that's why it's really important that if you're interested in getting to where you need to go when it comes to these careers, positions, and finding your own path, that you also commit some time to do some research in, going in that way, just like how you would if you wanted to. You can even use this is just about jobs and careers, right? But you can also think about this in the way of applying to colleges and applying to other universities. Hey, if I get this degree, I can transfer to this school and I'll be able to be on my correct career path. They'll be able to show me more, and I'll be able to network more with more people. And again, every year, what's going to happen is your group, or I want to say your friends, or the people that you meet, are going to expand. You'll learn more. And of course, that will hopefully chart a really great course for your career. And then you'll be the person being the mentor, and you'll be able to the person to be able to give back. Just like we have later on this week, our alumni are coming to visit us virtually like this. So please stay tuned for what's happening next in Digital Media Arts Week. You can see that's QR code here. That's our schedule of events. So if you don't mind to take a look at that, see if you can make it to any of our upcoming events. That would be really great. This is our first year doing this, and we hope to spread the word, make it super popular. And again, we have our alumni coming to present to us, talk about how it was for them transitioning from college, at SJCC, to the industry, or college to going to a four-year college. So it's, it's great. It's so exciting. So I'll be teaching or facilitating this next workshop at 3. This is going to be about looking for job and internships, which is my favorite thing to do. And I hope to give you some tips on how you can, do your best in the world of trying to create some job searches. This will also be a recorded session. So yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for joining me.